Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching this out there on the World Wide Web. This is Jeremy Geelan for Syscon TV. I am here at 9th Cloud Expo, Silicon Valley. Have the honor to have Rodney Rogers with me next, the chairman and CEO, no less, yes, of Virtustream. Welcome, Rodney.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You see feedback already from the public. They love hearing from Rodney, and this is the thing. As an active company in the cloud space and an active cloud CEO, Rodney is not shy, are you, sir, to see around, look at the space, maybe shame people who are cloud washing perhaps and stuff like that, as well as everything else?
I really enjoy doing that. The thing is, it's such an overhyped space. It's very difficult to get through to meaningful message in sort of the general marketing layer. I think you have some very good technology here, and you have some relatively pedestrian technology here, and it's all kind of sitting under the same veneer. And it really gets into the deeper discussion around how you're leveraging your cloud technology for what particular use case, for what targeted application environment, what are the economics that you can truly drive, what's your ability to SLA, truly guarantee things. Can you guarantee response time? Can you guarantee throughput? Things like that. And when you start really getting into that level of it, people tend to squirm a little bit. And
do you think, Rodney, without putting words in your mouth, is it just as simple as the customers aren't yet being demanding enough of providers?
Well, again, I think it depends on the space. So in the Web 2.0 world, or the organizations that leverage modern web native applications to really drive their business, they're very discerning buyers. The public cloud is commoditized. Amazon has set the market. AWS has set the market in that regard. Have done a brilliant job in that respect. I think in the enterprise side, it's quite different. Many people have different definitions of the enterprise and the enterprise cloud. Some people will refer to the enterprise cloud as name brand stacked gear and software. I tend to look at it as a large enterprise with a sophisticated compute topography that generally has a legacy enterprise application running it as its core, and will have varying degrees of tenured developed web applications satelliting around that sort of core component of the order through cash cycle, or that enterprise app. The definition of the enterprise is changing quite a bit. Netflix is an enterprise, right? And their business, the last I had heard that their business, the 80% of the applications that will run their business have yet to be written. JP Morgan Chase is an enterprise. Well, 80% of the applications they'll use to run that business have already been written. So the legacy app and the legacy app migration challenge is much different than the greenfield app development challenge. And you generally see sort of two groupings of bloggers and cloud pundits. You see one that is generally typified by the sort of more open source, public cloud oriented group, web scale oriented group, web native group, and then you see another group that is kind of defined more by proprietary technology, what is oftentimes termed to be the enterprise. The first group will I think naively assert that a web scale type of application or a true multi-tenant, a commodity cloud type of application is something that will fit all needs, over the course of time, that any application that's not smart enough to work within that ecosystem will be rewritten in modern technology languages and so forth. You have on the other side, the private cloud side, or what's more typified by the proprietary technology side. You get a lot of fear-mongering around security and performance and and the like. And what you tend to see in that world is sometimes the risk of building overburdensome embedded capacity-based private clouds. And that's not the right answer either. We fundamentally believe that you need elements of both. You have to address web scale. The ability to essentially not have boundaries and limits on your scaling capabilities is a big part of the enterprise need, the actual enterprise need. but not everybody can run on a pure multi-tenant, type of architecture. You need to be able to securitize and isolate data, and you need to be able to do that while still leveraging the efficiencies of an overriding multi-tenant architecture. There are ways to run fully securitized and isolated private clouds within multi-tenant architectures. That's one of the features that we've built into our Virtustream Extreme cloud. Extreme's the name of our enterprise cloud. So, we don't believe in the one size fits all. We believe it's a complex thing. You fundamentally need elements of both, and you really need to drive to something that we call true consumption. We have most or all of our competitors will provision, all of the cloud service providers out there will provision infrastructure in a VM or VM hour format usually, and a VM can kind of mean anything in terms of sizing. We've actually broken that down to a more granular level. We've defined a logical unit of measure we call an infrastructure unit that is a combination of compute, RAM, embedded network bandwidth, and embedded storage IOPS. And what we do with that is when we go out and size environments, we will aggregate demand from all all workload requirements across all application use, and run that through our resource pooling algorithms within our cloud OS or within our software layer, and fundamentally aggregate demand so that you get to true usage. We essentially virtualize a VM in so many words. We remove the headroom out of an actual VM. One of the, I think, dirty little secrets of this space is that there is, anywhere between, we've found 25-30% headroom in a VM. So virtualization 1.0, when everybody went from physical environments to virtual environments, they're taking out 50-60% of the headroom in a physical machine. Well, there's still headroom embedded in a virtual machine, and our aim and our passion was breaking that down and creating a more granular ability to provision, control, compute, meter, bill for it, and that's what we call our infrastructure unit. So from a sizing standpoint, it tends to drive more efficiency and thus more pricing efficiency. On a SLA or in the enterprise, what we found is our ability to control IOPS is really very key. We can control and thus guarantee we can control IOPS, thus guarantee throughput, guarantee response times in SLAs in a true multi-tenant architecture. So that's something that's very rare, if not non-existent. And what that allows an enterprise CIO to do is to have the peace of mind to put an enterprise application-based compute topography in a production instance in the cloud. So that when we stood up our cloud, we were recognized for having the largest SAP instance as defined by user count in a production environment in a true multi-tenant cloud in the world. Domino Foods is the largest sweetener producer in the United States, and they have about a 2,700 seat production system of SAP running in our Extreme Cloud, along with everything else in their compute topography. And it's by way of the things that I just described that allows them to do that. So
if I'm an enterprise CIO, and for any reason, I know you've got to go to meetings and things, if for any reason I haven't yet caught up with Virtustream, and I now realize I need to, what should I do?
Well, stop by our booth. We're in booth 210 here at Cloud Expo. Visit our website. I tweet regularly. I'm RJ Rogers 87, and I tend to be relatively opinionated, as you may well imagine. But we're a young company. We're only 2.5 years old, a little over 2.5 years old. We put the business plan together in late 2008 and formed ourselves in 2009 with really the objective to bring the efficiencies that AWS had brought to the commodity cloud, public cloud, to the large enterprise in a manner that not only dealt with the web scaling and the sizing efficiencies that are required with a true multi-tenant, or required through leveraging true open source based hypervisor technologies, but also address the security and performance requirements that many of these enterprise applications need without necessarily overspending on burdensome appliances or private cloud configurations and the like.
So there you are, an invitation from the CEO and chairman himself, Virtustream. Go to virtustream.com and start there if you can't be here. Thanks so much, Rodney, for joining us here in Silicon Valley, and thank you for following this out there on the World Wide Web.